Welcome. We bid you welcome, John Clauser, Johnny Metal, the Metal Dad, coming to you from my music corner of the world. And with my faithful co-captain on this journey, who has been doing this exercise in debauchery, trying to do it from muscle memory, perhaps, was willing to join it in an instant, and he's going on with a full head of steam because he's having to deal with a mess of a person over on this end. John the Music Nut, how you doing, my brother?
I'm doing well, my brother, and I will never take a dive. How about you?
Right. Yeah, we're not going to I can't even say up yours to anything here because it's like no, I would never do that. Oh my goodness. Okay, so
I would.
again, Armored Saint Nation, you're probably figuring this one out. We're talking about their 2015 album here, When Hands Down.
You have a digipack there?
I have a digipack, yes.
Oh, I don't have a digipack. I have the traditional jewel case.
Yeah, I think I got this one from Metal Blade, I think directly, and I think that was what they were selling. I forget,
And I got Lil Raza from Metal Blade. Okay.
maybe I folks, I got so many CDs and stuff. I don't even know where I get stuff anymore. That's terrible. But yes, I do have a digipack of this one. So yeah, so 2015 man, La Raza, no chart action. When hands down, chart action. I'm just going to dive into this one real quick. Um and and then we'll let John take over on going through the songs before we go into it. So yeah, so as I mentioned in La Raza, When Hands Down sells twice as many copies as La Raza did. Mystery. Um, Belgium on two different charts does pretty decent, 119 and 94. Not sure of the different charts there, but Germany hits number 33. Swiss charts goes to 84. The US Billboard Top 200, it cracks it only by a little bit, but it's 183. But on the top album sales, it climbed to number 77. Top hard rock, it peaked at number 3.
Nice.
Top rock, 15. So this got some good chart action. And I have no qualms about that because this is a crunching good album. So I'm gonna let John take over from here and let's talk about some wins hands down.
All right. Thank you, John. Now, the title track opens the album. How I heard about this album coming out was Jim Florentine used to play this song on his Metal Midget show on Ozzy's Boneyard on Sirius XM channel 38. Now they
Hmm.
can't call it Metal Midgets, but back then they did. And that's how I discovered this song. And it was nice to hear some stuff from Armored Saint again. Because I mean, I didn't know about Revelation of La Raza when they had come out. I only heard about them much later. When
Mhm.
Hands Down, I found out about in real time. Now, again, we got that superb lineup. John Bush, vocals, Joey Vera, bass and production. Very well recorded again.
Huh?
Do not go away from Joey on this end. Um, Phil Sandoval, Jeff Duncan on guitars, Gonzo Sandoval on drums. This album is a hard-hitting album. There is some traces of their first few albums on here, a little bit of that new wave of British heavy metal thing, a little bit, not much. Lyrically, they continue to move forward. Their lyrics are just getting better and better. They're getting more topical. What I really love about this band, and I'm glad that we did this series, is when you listen to this band's catalog, you're listening to a band who keeps challenging themselves. They're not resting on laurels. I mentioned something that was like a little bit like their early albums, but on a whole, it sounds like a step forward musically. They're doing different things. They're adding little things to their musical palette. They're not resting on past laurels. They're not a nostalgia act. They just keep
No.
plugging away, and they keep getting a little more creative every time out while still being true to their foundation. That's Armored Saint. Win hands down continues that trend. The title track is a strong one to open things up. We do have a good breakdown in here, a nice lyrical guitar solo. It's just a strong opener that I think works really well. Mess is pretty cool. Mess is heavy and riveting. I love to You Ain't No Different chorus on here. I like that a lot. Again, the lyrics, very topical lyrics on here, which I really enjoy. The riff, the opening riff is very much like thrash, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really heavy riff on here that works very well. The next song is An Exercise in Debauchery. Now, this is about pedophiles, and John just lets loose on them lyrically on here. This is a
Yep.
killer track. Gonzo's drumming on here, superb. It is a little on the long side for a song like this. I don't think you had to go 6 minutes. You probably could have shaved a minute off, and I think it would have worked even better. But very creative lyrically, very good song. Muscle Memory, this is very catchy. It's longer, but here the length works because there's different passages in the song. It has a long it has a long intro. You have the keyboards on there adding some color. It's got a very memorable chorus in here, but that slow build works really well on this song. It's one of the highlights of the album, certainly. That was then, way back when. Okay, this song is about people who, you're thinking about things back in the day and you're not really moving forward. You're just thinking about things back in the day. It does talk about how someone's trying social media and how we're trying to still stay stars and trying to extend our 15 minutes of fame, as they say in the lyrics here. And some some people are just stuck in the past and they want to just, and that's what some people remember. You get it. But that's what the song is about. It's quite good. There are some new wave of British heavy metal um links here, I think. But I mean, it doesn't dominate the song. It's very good. Next, we have With a Full Head of Steam. Now, on here, you got Pearl Aday guesting on vocals. Pearl
Mhm.
Aday is Meatloaf's daughter.
Yeah.
Okay. So this song really works because John and Pearl are doing some cool call and response on some of the verses, and they're singing really well together at times too. So her guest appearance here really works on the song. Uh, it starts out cerebral, and then before it becomes driving, it's straight ahead. Nice solo on here. Um, Pre-choruses are very good. Good song. Next song is In an Instant. In an Instant, 7 minutes and 36 seconds. This is about the fragility of life. Lyrically, strong, very good. Got a nice build up in here. It does have more of those. It's a little more modern in its sound, but again, it's building on the foundation, not taking away from it. It's a good song. I love the soft and the loud parts on here. John's
Mhm.
doing a lot of that on this album. He's singing a lot of things, doing a lot of things. Some of his vocals are quiet, spoken word. That works on in an instant. It is a little long, but I mean, for the most part, it works. Now, Dive is about suicide,
Yeah.
and this is gripping. This is it. It's you don't want to get too deep into this, but it's a very strong statement. It reminds you a little bit of Black Lodge by Anthrax, but it's not as catchy
Yeah,
as that.
yeah.
This is more gripping. Uh the lyrics are very self-explanatory. And it's not promoting suicide. Let's just get off that right. Let's just
No.
put that out right now. But it is going into the mind of someone who's thinking about it. It's an interesting track. It's got a nice lyrical guitar solo in here as well.
Mhm.
Up yours. Excuse me. That's a good closer. We got the move forward message here. No more what ifs in the chorus. This is a good closer. I wouldn't say it's a great closer, but I do quite like it. Again, every song on here I like. There are a few songs I would have shaved. Because you have this album is the same length as La Raza, but you got one less song. And sometimes the longer tracks work. Other times you're thinking, oh, I would have cut this part out.
Mhm.
Or I would have ended the song here instead of went into another verse at the end. But very well done. It's a very good album. My ranking, I'm going to give this a 7.5.
Okay.
And it could go up to an 8 for me in the future, but I don't, I thought the songs were a little catchier and a little more memorable with La Raza.
Mhm.
But there are songs on here that I can see growing on me a little bit more. But as I said before, musically still very strong, and lyrically they're getting even better.
Yeah.
And there's these changes in pace and momentum, especially in John's voice, that work very well. The band plays superb. There are times when it's just Gonzo and Joey playing, and it sounds tremendous.
Oh,
And
beautiful.
the guitar is just there for color. And one thing I gotta mention, we had we have Eric Ragnar here on piano and keyboards. His
Mhm.
contributions on here really add to the songs. He really puts a lot, like some of these songs. One song on here starts out with a piano. I believe
5.
it's Dive. Yes, that adds a lot to that song. And some of the
Yes, it does.
keyboards that you hear, yes, and some of the keyboards here, they're not dominating the proceedings. They're just adding more color to the mood of the song, and it works very, very well. So 7.5 for Win, hands down.
Mm.
It's an album that I like a lot, and I'm gonna probably continue to enjoy this album.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's sounds fair enough. Boy, for me, I'm just gonna get my ranking out of the way. I'm putting this at a 9.
Okay.
And I think there's 4 reasons that comes, well, five reasons essentially that comes to mind. Gonzo, Joey, Phil, uh, Jeff, and John. And just to break that down, Gonzo and Joey, like we said in La Raza, tight as a tourniquet.
Yep.
On this album, Jeff and Phil go nuts. There's some guitar passages on this that I just absolutely love. And of course John's voice, and voice is he knows what to do for every single song. And lyrically, there's so much poignant stuff here. Again, it's like you need to take that really deep dive into the lyrics just to really get a grip of what they're singing about here. Win, hands down, extremely strong opener. Again, could open up a show, a tour for a show with no problem. Great chorus. Love the solo section. Love that little moody section about the 3-minute mark. I love that breakdown section. I thought that was really, really good. That crunchiness is what I felt like I was missing from Revelation and La Raza a little bit. I was like, oh man, this was To me, it sounded like a very these guys sounded hungry again. That was a term, that was a song, a word I was looking for. Um, and I think that hunger continues with Mess. Another just a very hungry, just a 1-2 punch coming right at you. Um, Again, I think lyrically you've already done a good job of describing the lyrics. There's nothing much more I can add to that. But the one thing I loved about this song is I love that machine gun ending. Oh,
Mhm.
I love that ending. That was so good. Again, it's like, oh, bring me more, feed me more, as Ryback says. Yes, I mentioned Ryback. Anyway, exercise and debauchery. I love the guitar work in this song. Boom, 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 boom. Oh man, I just love that. Ooh, ooh, love it. Love the funky effects in Joey's bass solo. Love that ending groove. Yeah, I mean the lyrics here, like you were talking about, pedophiles. I mean, yeah, we certainly are not going to condone any of that kind of stuff. All that kind of stuff's a no-no. But my gosh, John does a great job of delivering these lyrics in this song. But to me, I'm usually the lyric guy, but this time the music just absolutely grips me. I just love the grip, the crunchiness of this of so many of the songs in this one. Um, Muscle Memory. This is where I kind of a moody epic rocker. You just feel like you want to believe in the human race, that you have to do what you know just to get through each day. It's kind of how I kind of looked at this. He talks about having a clan of his own, and how he's got to leave it for them to to build upon. But at the same time, he sees, the protagonist here sees the world around him, and yet I don't want to pass the torch off to such nonsense. And there is a lot of nonsense in the world today. I'm like, let's face it. um but again, another very strong, it's a little, like you said, a little, maybe a little on the long side, but it works. All the different ebbs and flows work so well with this song. That was then way back when. I love the gallop of this song. um at first I kind of thought about this song being about someone being famous, and they're just trying to figure out ways of staying relevant. But then you mentioned social media. I'm like, oh yeah, oh, that's even better, because God knows social media is a mess with trying to stay, for everybody wanting to stay as relevant as we can. Hmm. And yet we're doing a music video show. So I guess this is our way of trying to stay relevant. But hey, we ain't doing this to make money. We ain't doing this to be famous. So, well, at least I'm not. But no, I'm just kidding. No. Anyway,
You love, do what you
do
love.
what you love, and that's what it's about. Maybe fame isn't everything, but so we're let's just be us. Just let's just be us normal people, and we'll keep going. With a full head of steam. Boy, this song is just like its title. This comes at you like a full head of steam, man. And Pearl Aday's vocals on this just, I think, blend in well with it. Of course, Pearl being Scott Ian's wife from Anthrax. Let's not forget that part. So you have that connection. So they have good, obviously, the good ties together. But my gosh, absolute war cry of a song. Just another fantastic banger. Um, I love the acousticness of it in an instant. Again, so many moods. It's like, yeah, life just goes by and it's fragile. You mentioned it before. Life is very fragile. Just a couple of weeks ago, I lost a good friend at work, with from brain cancer, and I'm just like, it was heavy going back into work after a couple of days off. I went back into work after his funeral, and it it felt kind of sad and heavy at the time. So it was kind of, yeah, you miss these people. So you don't want to, because but that's not what this song is really about. I mean, some people just make decisions in an instant, and it can cost them, and that's not always that's not a good thing either. So make your decisions wisely, I guess. Um, Dive, a beautiful song with the piano intro, it's a very slow ballad, but yeah, the suicide awareness. I mean, my gosh, yeah, yeah. People, if you ever get suicidal thoughts, you know, you reach out to somebody. You know, even if you want to reach out to us in the comments or something, please do. You know, we'll talk to you. We'll we might not be. I don't know if we're professional enough to talk you off a ledge or something, but my God, we'll certainly talk to you. Don't ever feel like you gotta walk through those things alone. You know, and then you have a good album closer. Just not taking anybody's crap and up yours. What more can you say about that? But yeah, just a crunching album with some very poignant lyrics that again, really could use a seriously deeper dive than what I've gone into here. But again, this is just this to me just win hands down absolute crunching album. So so with that, I'm going to turn it back to John. Let's see if he's got some tour info. See if they did any tours with this one, and then I'll finish off with the Armored Saint Nation, because I have to mend a little boo boo from last week. So
Right. So did a lot more touring this time around. 2015, they hit 31 shows. 2016, we had 41 shows. Now, 2015, they did 19 shows in the USA. Before we get into that, the songs they played from this album were Win Hands Down, Mess, and Exercise in Debauchery, and Muscle Memory. So the first 4 tracks.
okay.
Okay. So for their tour, they did a lot of dates as a special guest for Saxon. There's a great double bill.
Well, I'll say.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So we got BB King's in New York, the Palladium upstairs in Worcester, Massachusetts, 210 Capone's live in San Antonio, Gas Monkey live in Dallas, Texas, Rock Bar Theater in San Jose, House of Blues in West Hollywood again. They also played as a headliner at some clubs. Like we had 2 nights at Count's Vamped Rock Bar and Grill in Las Vegas. Then they went back with Saxon. They did Brick. A lot of these venues you're going to hear, we've talked about in this series and the Wasp series as well. Brick by Brick in San Diego. They played Prague Power in Atlanta again in 2015. So
15. Okay. Yeah.
right. So they played Stafford Palace Theater and Stafford Springs, Connecticut, Asylum in Portland, Maine, Howard Theater in Washington, D.C., with Mind Maze as an opener on that one. Token Lounge in Westland, Michigan, the Agora in Cleveland, Ohio. Agora Theater is very well known and respected, and it's still putting out a lot of great shows. Ultra Bar in Pittsburgh, Odd Bodies in Dayton, Ohio, Arcada Theater in St. Charles, Illinois. Another great venue. Still has a lot of good shows, a lot of wonderful shows there. And in 2016, they did the 41 shows, and they did a lot of the same venues. Now, for this tour, they were playing some shows at Metal Church. You gotta love that.
That would be a heck of a lineup.
Oh my God. Oh, and also in 2015, before I hit 2016, they did some shows outside the States. They did Wacken in Germany. They did Free and Easy in Munich. They played in Amsterdam, Netherlands. And some of these shows they played as support with Death Angel and the headliner was Queensryche.
Ooh.
Some of these shows that they were playing, they played at Bloodstock, they played at Alcatraz Metal Festival. So yeah, they did a lot of shows with Queensryche and Death Angel and another band called Beyond the Black. And then in 2016, they were doing shows at Metal Church. They played Brooklyn Bowl in Brooklyn, New York. They played Studio 7 in Seattle. They also played Ace of Spades in Sacramento. They played Riverside Municipal Auditorium. That was with Midnight Internal and Queensryche. They played Club Red in Mesa, Arizona. House of Blues in San Diego, Showbox in Seattle. And if I got this correctly, I hope I wrote this down right. They did the Carpe Noctem live album, which came out the next year. I believe they did that in Ace of Spades in Sacramento. If I'm wrong on that, I'll correct that, but that's what I have written down here. So yes, they did a lot of touring over a 2-year span, and we had some nice double and triple bills on here as well.
Very cool. Boy, I can just imagine that Metal Church one with when Mike Howe was still with us. Oh, wow, that would have been, man, that would have been great. And I'm just, of course, with Saxon, gosh, Death Angel. Of course, now the Death Angel lineup's changed a lot. It's not the original Band of Brothers, Familia. Okay. But I think they have changed. And boy, those first few Death Angel albums are intense. Great albums. Man, I haven't listened to those in a long time. But yeah, good stuff there. Good stuff with the tours. Okay, Armored Saint Nation. So I made a little bit of a boo-boo last week with La Raza. So I want to correct that one a little bit. You guys had some good stuff. There was a few other people who had said some nice things about La Raza. So I want to just talk about that. Mike Cordistos, great album. Lisa Riccio, underappreciated. Love the title track and blues especially. Todd Mattingly, I liked it. I've appreciated it more over the years. Jimmy Brewer, well, sorry, not a fan of this at all. James Hope, one of my favorites. Just listen to it. Now, this is what made me feel bad about this because I completely missed this one. David Sandoval. I wonder which Sandoval he's related to. I was there for most of the recordings, even though I was young, and man, it's one of my favorite albums. So, David, thank you for chiming in on that. That was really, really cool to get somebody in the from the family kind of into into this. So okay, so now I'm trying to find the there we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so this is what they thought of Win Hands Down. So this is where I started talking about Muscle Memory being a great song from David Wangman. So yes, major album kicks major ass. That was Gary Mendez, Eric Cup. Each song, every single track stands on its own, crushing start to finish. Personal favorite. Let's see. Lonnie Doc. This is the one where this is where I made my mistakes. Lonnie Doxey, masterpiece. Bobby Furtado, good album, win hands down. Eric Mooch, beyond the wonderful music you play, I love the depth of the lyrics. Exercise, very consistent album, all killer, no filler from My Beautiful Saints. Peter Hennison, another classic, love the title track. Andrew Hernan, awesome album, throws up the horns. David Chavers with a head full of steam, with a full head of steam, is my favorite Armored Saint ever recorded. Kyle Anderson, this album wins hands down. So loved his little play on words there. And so there you go. That was the Armored Saint Nation speaking out on this album. So they like this one too. They liked La Raza as well. Maybe not everybody, but they certainly liked it. So man, we only got like one more album to cover now. and that's going to be their most recent one where they got the tour with Wasp, the Punching the Sky album. So that will be what we'll talk about next week. But let's see. What do you got, John? What else have you got in the pipeline? Gosh, I'm thinking as we were recording this. This is going to come out on the 18th of October. So I'm trying to think, do you got anything else further on down the line to be talking about?
Yes, the 19th, I will be live on Grants Rock Warehouse with Daryl Collins. Yep. John's giving you a great hint right now. We got Daryl Collins, Byron Bolt, Ernesto Ramos, and the incomparable Grant Arthur. We're going to do our Wall Punchers show part 2.
That should be fun, because I don't know if anybody's like me, but I think some of these songs on Win Hands Down are Wall Punchers, but for a totally different reason.
Right. These are songs we don't like, so we want to punch a wall, right?
But these songs, man, you want to just take the aggression out because they're so crunching. But yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so yeah, it's all good. But, and by the way, props to Daryl Collins. We call him DC. This was his concept. So, I mean, yeah, we could come up with so much on here, and he's got tons of them we could talk about. But that'll be, I'm sorry, Thursday, October 19, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think the next day I'm doing a show. That's not going to be live. That'll be on Rock Daydream Nation with Peter Kerr. I think we're going to talk about bands that were similar to Sting and the Police, and bands that were replicating Sting's vocals and Robert Plant's vocals during that time. Like bands that sounded similar to them. Maybe not always musically. I mean, certainly not with the Police, maybe not always musically, certainly.
Right.
But other bands from that era, or even now, that have those similar vocal stylings that Sting and Robert Plant had then. We're gonna film that on Friday, November 20th. And that's pretty much it. Before this show airs, I'll be doing a Rick Springfield show with Peter Kerr on Rock Daydream Nation as well. And by the way, John's going to tell you about a show it just dropped right before we were taping today, but it's going to be out there close to 2 weeks by the time you see this. So let her rip, John.
So let me think. So I'm trying to think of what. So we just did a show. It just dropped on YouTube. Let's see. Today's the 8th. So this would have dropped on the 7th, where and John made mention of this. This was we were talking about the very best of speed metal, Speed Kill. So we got to do that. I mean, this is for anybody who loves speed metal. This compilation is just absolutely killer. From 1985. Just so many good songs in here. Let me think. I was asked to do that Rick Springfield show, but to be truthful, the only song I really know is actually just Jesse's Girl. So I passed on that show. The only other show that I know of that I'll be a part of is on Bicycle Legs' channel. Another fine fellow Australian to Peter Kerr. So we'll be doing a show on his channel talking about our favorite greatest hits albums. So that's what that one's going to be. Give me a hint, John. What am I missing?
I think
the one that you're talking about.
I think, well, the one I was talking about was Speed Kills.
Okay, what Speed Kills? Okay, all right. I wasn't sure if there was something else I'm that I'm completely zoning out on, but I'm getting old, folks. What can I say? The memories, the muscle memory is getting weird and wacky. Anyway, so there you go. So yeah, Bicycle Legs' show. So we've got that, and then after we do, as we said, we're going to be doing Punching the Sky. So that'll be the following show. After that, we'll probably do a ranking, and we'll probably tie this. We'll probably tie the set list, a dream set list together with the ranking, because I can't imagine the ranking is going to take too long. But you know,
Yeah, okay,
we could probably tie the two together. I don't know. We'll see what we get ourselves into with this.
right.
But you know, with this mind, anything's possible. But I've got a great co-captain who's bouncing off such wonderful
Thank you.
ideas, and we've got some cool stuff that we'll do throughout November, and then we're going to tackle a very special band for December. I'm not going to let you in on it just yet. Well, at least I'm going to toy around with the idea of
Yeah,
talking about it without getting you know, too scared about it. But anyway, because we are in October now, so it's getting on a Halloween now. But anyway, I'm just rambling at this point. But hey, that John Clauser, Johnny Metal, the Metal Dad, my faithful co-captain John the Music Nut, who is, you know, one thing you can check him out on is, if you haven't done so already, if you are a Blue Oyster Cult fan, go to martinpopoff.com and order this little bad boy, Dominance and Submission. John has some insights on some of the Blue Oyster Cult discography. Check it out. It's worth the read. It's it was just reviewed recently on Sea of Tranquility, and so so that's a good thing to check out. I'll give Martin a little plug there too. So anyway, until next week, after John's punching some walls, we're going to be punching the sky. We'll see you soon. Take care.
take care, guys. Thanks.